What's up, guys, and welcome to my in-depth review for Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Now, if you'd like to catch my in-depth reviews for the first 5 Star Wars episodes, they're up on this channel now, so you can catch those if you want to watch those before this one, and if not, you just want to start right up with this, here we go. So, Return of the Jedi takes place a little bit after The Empire Strikes Back. I can't imagine it takes place too long after, but it takes place a decent amount of time after The Empire Strikes Back. And the way the film opens is Han Solo is still, he's still frozen in carbonite, and he's now been taken to Jabba the Hutt by Boba Fett. At the same time, Emperor Palpatine has come to the Death Star to, witness its final, stages in the building of it, I guess, the second Death Star. That it's almost finished, and Emperor Palpatine wants to come to be there when it happens. It happens to where everyone gets to Jabba's palace. The droids get there first, and then Leia and Chewie get there when she's wearing her sort of disguise, and then Luke gets there, and Han's already there, and Lando's already there. And Lando's now working for the good guys. Lando Calrissian is now a good guy. He's no longer working for the Empire. And when we first see Luke Skywalker in this film, he's like, he's not how he was in Empire Strikes Back. He seems like he's learned a lot more since that film. Now he's got his black Jedi attire on. And there's that great sequence to where after he gets in Jabba's palace, he's trying to negotiate with Jabba to get Han Solo, but Jabba's just not having it, so he gets released into the trap where he has to fight this big Rancor, which I always did enjoy that scene. I still do to this day. I think it's pretty entertaining. And at this time, Leia's been captured, and now she has her slave outfit on. And Leia actually ends up releasing Han from the carbonite. She goes in with her disguise, and she releases him. And then Han Solo, he's just like, once he gets out of it, he's blind. He can't really see, because he's been in there, and he's been like in this hibernation so long, and he has hibernation sickness. And he's like, I can't see. Your vision will return in time, or whatever she says, something along the lines of that. It all pretty much comes to the point where after Luke kills the Rancor, you got Han and Luke, and then Leia's still captured by Jabba and the droids, and, Jabba's just like, we're going to take you to the Master's sail barge, and you're going to be on these skiffs, and you're going to jump into the Sarlacc pit, and you're going to be digested over thousands and thousands of years. And Luke Skywalker, he's real cocky about this, because he knows in his head that nothing bad is going to happen to him, because he's like to Jabba, that's the last mistake you'll ever make. He's confident. He is very confident in what's going to happen. I really love that sequence to where Luke's just getting off onto the diving board sort of thing. The plank, I guess you could call it. He gets on the plank, and he's to the edge of it, and he sees R2-D2, and he's just like this, and R2's just like, okay, and he shoots a lightsaber to Luke, and it's that great scene where the music when he catches it. It's fantastic. The only thing I really didn't like about that scene is how they decided to kill off Boba Fett. I just didn't like how, it was done by accident, and just the kind of scream that he does, and he falls into the Sarlacc pit. I wasn't really, a big fan of how they killed off Boba Fett. I think the character like that could have been, handled so much better if they were going to do that. After the heroes get out of Tatooine and everything's good, Luke's just like, I want to go back down to Yoda. I promised him I'd return. So he does, but once he gets there, Yoda's pretty much at his last moments of life. He's going to die, and he's telling Luke that there's another Skywalker, and he must confront his father again to truly become a Jedi. And Luke's just like, I can't do it, R2. After Yoda dies and he disappears and he becomes one with the Force, Luke's just like, I can't do it. I can't do this. But then we see again Ben Kenobi's ghost, and he comes and he talks to Luke, and he explains to him that what he told him was true from a certain point of view, and Ben Kenobi had a twist of truth, and he did, but now Luke Skywalker completely understands what's happening. He knows his sister is Leia now, and the only way that he can make this right is to confront Vader once again. And he's like, I can't kill my father. It's like, then the Emperor has already won. Ben Kenobi kind of like talks him into it. He's just like, you gotta, if you don't fight your father, then the Emperor has already won. So it's like, search your feelings. They serve you well, but they may be used to serve the Emperor, or something like that, that he says, which is a great line, and I love that whole sequence on Dagobah. I think it's great, and that's the last time we see Dagobah, actually. But then we get back up to the Rebels, to where we're seeing that they're, planning another attack on this Death Star, the second Death Star, which is, they want to destroy this thing. They don't want them to keep, making them, and they want to just destroy it, and they want to, exterminate the Empire once and for all. And it's like Han Solo and Luke and Leia. Luke gets back up to the Rebels, by the way, and he's just like hugging Leia, and she's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Ask me again sometime. Like, I don't think you're ready to hear this right now. There's too much going on." But they get sent to the forest moon of Endor, which is a great planet, and I really enjoy the look of it and how it's just mostly forest and woods. They get there, and there's that cool scene of how they get on the speeders, and Luke and Leia get on the speeders, and they're chasing the stormtroopers who are also on speeders. I really enjoyed that sequence. I thought it was really entertaining. Leia gets separated from the group, where she meets an Ewok. And that Ewok takes her to all the Ewoks, and it's crazy because they do her hair and they give her new clothing, which I don't necessarily know how they gave her new clothes, if they're just, having a female wardrobe there just waiting for someone to come so they could, braid her hair and all this stuff and whatever. And Han and Luke and, R2 and 3PO and Chewie, they get brought into this sort of trap where they're, in a net now, and they're cut out, and once they hit the ground, they realize that the Ewoks are now surrounding them. And this is the point of the film where maybe about 5 minutes, maybe about 7 to 5 minutes, to where nothing really happens to advance the story, really. I didn't think. It was just like, okay, we're going to meet the Ewoks now, and they're going to think that 3PO is some sort of god, and then the Ewoks are going to try to burn Luke and Han and, kill them. But, 3PO tells them that he has these magic powers that he really doesn't know what he's talking about, but Luke tells him to, tell them you're going to use your magic. And the Ewoks don't buy it, and I thought it was really cool how, Luke's just hanging there, and he closes his eyes, and he uses the Force, not, just to raise 3PO in his chair as he's just, like, moving around in the sky. And then all the Ewoks just go, oh, maybe we should, cut these guys free. After that, 3PO is telling the Ewoks stories about what happened in this strange dialect that you could pretty much understand what's happening without him having to speak English, but still, you didn't really need it. I thought that was just, in there. I don't really know. I guess it was a fun little sequence. I guess it was kind of silly, but whatever. And then at the end of the sequence, the Ewoks make our heroes part of the tribe. So now they're going to help the rebels fight the stormtroopers and fight the Empire. At this point, Luke realizes that he has to leave now. He senses that Vader's on Endor, and he just goes, and before he leaves, he tells Leia that they're related, and Darth Vader's his father, and, he has to go. The interaction between Vader and Luke after this is great, how they're kind of on that bridge, and Luke is starting to try to turn him back to the good side, but at this point, Vader is very stubborn about it, and he doesn't want to do it. He's not wanting to talk about it. And then they go up to the Death Star to have this great interaction and confrontation with Emperor Palpatine. And as all this is going down, the Ewoks and the rebels, Han and Leia, they're all getting ready to go and knock out the shield generators. So the people that are in the ships, like Lando's in the Falcon, and there's that great space battle that's going to take place as these rebels in the sky are trying to wipe out the second Death Star. The Emperor is trying to persuade Luke to turn evil, and just all this stuff that's taking place, and it's just like, I can feel your anger. And then it all comes to a head when Luke finally gets his lightsaber, and Darth Vader ignites his lightsaber, and then there's that fantastic fight. Personally, I enjoyed this confrontation more than the one in Empire Strikes Back, just because I felt that the characters had even more tension between them. now that there's more stakes to it because they're father and son, and it's intense and it's an emotionally compelling scene, and I really enjoyed it. All leading up to the end of that scene where Luke just finally goes nuts on Vader, and he fights him and he gets him to the ground and he cuts off his hand. And before Luke goes any further into the dark side, he throws his lightsaber and he's just like, "You've won, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me." Like he's like, "I'll never turn to the dark side." And Palpatine, he's just like, "So be it, Jedi." And I don't think Luke knows what he's actually in for. At this moment in time, I really don't know what was going through his head at this point, but maybe he should have just threw the lightsaber kind of close, so if he was going to get zapped with electricity, maybe he could pick it up and kind of pull what Mace Windu pulled in Revenge of the Sith, how he kind of blocked it, but he didn't. His lightsaber was gone, and I don't even think he thought to grab it because it just happened so quick, and Sidious just starts electrocuting Luke, and he's on the ground and he's begging for his father to help him. Vader gets off the ground and he's standing there and he's looking to Palpatine and he's looking to Luke as he's electrocuting his son right in front of his face. And this is the time where Darth Vader finally comes back to the good side. He picks up Palpatine and he throws him over the ledge, and Palpatine then dies. Vader was getting electrocuted himself, as the electricity was just going through Vader as he picked him up. So Luke pulls him out to his ship, and that fantastic scene to where Vader asks Luke to take off his mask and see what he looks like. So he does, and it's just this old man inside the Darth Vader suit, and it's just like there's a man in there, which makes it just so sad, that there was an actual person in there. And then Vader finally dies, and Luke is very sad about this, and it's just a scene where he puts his head down, and as all this is going on, there's the Endor fight. Obviously, everything turned out well there. It's just a great sequence, and the space battle as well. Finally, Lando gets into the Death Star, and he shoots the thing he needs to shoot, and he gets out, and then everybody's happy, and the Empire is destroyed. And then Luke cremates Vader, and it's a very emotional little scene, where he's just standing there, Vader's burning, and the music is the very beautiful music. As I said about all the 6 Star Wars films, John Williams' score is another character in every one of these films. The music is fantastic in all of them. And then at the end, you have the victory celebration where the Ewoks and the Rebels and, all our heroes are just having a nice little party. Luke gets back and he turns to the tree and he sees Ben Kenobi and Yoda's Force Ghost, and all of a sudden Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost appears next to those 2 other ghosts, the Yoda and Ben Ghost, and Luke just kind of smiles and he turns around and he joins the party, and the ghosts are looking at Luke. And that's it. But don't get me wrong, this isn't a perfect film, but it is close to being a perfect film. There are small issues with it, like Boba Fett's death and the Ewoks, just wiping out these stormtroopers. But overall, I love Return of the Jedi, and I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love this film. And yeah, guys, that wraps up my series of Star Wars movie reviews to this point. Until 1 week today, I'll be posting my non-spoiler review for Star Wars The Force Awakens, so you can catch that. And then a few days after that, I'll be posting my in-depth spoiler review for the film as well. So, yeah, guys, what do you think about Return of the Jedi? Comment your thoughts in the comment section and let me know what you think about the film. Also, you could subscribe to this channel for, all the other Star Wars reviews I posted. They're up now. The Force Awakens review is coming out, like I said, next week, and a spoiler review for it. You could also follow me on Twitter and like my Facebook review page. The links are in the description of this video. And yeah, guys, that's about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you subscribe. Over and out.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
R2, where are we going? I couldn't possibly, Jola. Ah!